see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining in.
Well, good morning. It's Monday, February 17th, 2025, and welcome to episode 826 of the Lost Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter-free. I'm Brian, your host, and today I'm enjoying a FTO Blonde Espresso from foodforestfarms.com, where you can get 10% off with discount code LOTS10, and the shipping is always free. While you're there, check out C4 Club. C4 Club, fantastic coffee club, monthly deliveries of your favorite air-roasted coffee. Check it out at foodforestfarms.com. Today I'm going to be talking about a great date that I had yesterday. Some interesting weather, both the last week and in the forecast. A Facebook Marketplace interaction, and a little bit more. Thanks for joining in. Let's hang out. Head on over to the live chat and see who's hanging out, and we will get rolling in just a bit. Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone doing? Looks like Noster is down again. Zap.stream has been down. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I saw rumblings of it over in my chat feed on Noster, but I haven't dug in enough to look at it. But thought it was fixed. Now it's showing up red. So yeah, we'll see. Got to get going back over there. Good morning, John Palmer. Thanks for stopping in. Good morning, good day, and good week to you. Canadian Farmstead, good morning. Thanks for stopping in. Hunter over on Twitch, as always. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Courtney. Good morning. How are you? Well, it's been a week, guys. It's been a week. It has been interesting for sure. The weather's been crappy. Weather off the top, it's just been raining and raining and raining. We got flooding going on around here. I'll talk about that in a little bit. The weather temperature has it was pretty low, and then it popped up for a little bit for a couple days, and now it's taking the plunge again. From what I understand from the locals, this is called second winter coming up. I talk about that a little bit. Had a really good date with Corey yesterday. I'll start with that, I guess. But we don't do a whole lot around here. There really isn't a whole lot to do. We get out to the property as much as we can. But there isn't a whole ton to do. We've hit the local museum we like. We've stopped to the river. So I keep my ears out for things to do to go on, a quote unquote date. Corey and I are not dating by any means. We've been together for a few years now, but we like to spend time together. And so I was driving around. I heard on the radio, I mentioned this last week, I think, that I heard that they were having an exotic pet expo in Jackson, Tennessee, which is about an hour from here, give or take. I think it took us like 55 minutes to get there. So not horrible, but I heard they were having a exotic pet expo. And I was like, man, for the girl that's got the snails and the bird feeders on her window and loves all things animals, this would be a pretty good date. And I was going to surprise her with it, but I don't know. It's at this point in our relationship, I played it safe, and I asked her if she was something she'd be interested in doing, just in case she had plans. Or she's like, no, I don't want to go see all the animals in cages, which I completely didn't expect to happen. I completely expected her to be excited about going, which she was. So I looked into it some more, and it appears that it is like a traveling expo that goes, city to city to city. It appears they were in Nashville. They are now in Jackson, which is about halfway in between. I think next they're in Memphis, and then they do a loop down through like Texas and Louisiana and Minneapolis, Mississippi, and Georgia. And I think they just keep doing a loop, because when I tried to look it up, there were several different dates for that event. and over the years. It wasn't always like Valentine's weekend or something like that. It was in Jackson. It was in August. It was in October. So $5 at the door. It was worth $5, I think, walking around. But anyway, Corey and I got up early, got the dogs walked, and headed up there and made a day of it. We were gonna go get some lunch and check out the Pet Expo, and we really didn't know what to expect. In my experience, you can go to these things and they can be completely jam packed and hundreds of vendor booths and tons of people everywhere. And then I've been to similar events where it's like 4 or 5 tables and it takes you 3 minutes to walk through it. So we were hoping for the former. We were hoping for pretty packed and not necessarily a ton of people, but at least a ton of vendors. And Corey was super excited because on the radio ad, it said that you could hold baby kangaroos. And yeah, so she was pretty excited about that. Canadian Farmstead says, I was expecting a cat with 3 legs and a possum. Oh, as exotic pets. Yeah, right. They did have cats there. Well, so we showed up. It was at the fairgrounds in like in a event building, so it was enclosed. We were wondering with the temperatures being in the 30s if it was going to be inside or outside. Because a lot of places around here, and we've noticed this in the last cold snap, is a lot of places around here don't have heaters in their freaking buildings. They put in space heaters and stuff when it's supposed to be cold, but it isn't cold enough here to have heat. So I was curious at a fairgrounds what they considered indoors, and it was warm. It was plenty fine. I was it was kind of battling back and forth in my head with all these snakes and exotic lizards and things that I expected to be there. Would it be warm? You don't want the $1,000 snake sitting out in the cold when it's used to being in the jungle. So we showed up, pretty easy to find. One little tiny sign, like we had GPS to where it was at, but then one tiny little sign advertising this thing. And so we walk in, and it was a ton of vendors. It was man, I would have to say at least 50. It must have been 50. I didn't count really. We walked around for quite a while, hour probably or more. So we walked in, stuffed animals and exotic pet stuffed animals at the door, vendors by the door. They were selling stuff like that. No live animals. We both wanted to use the bathroom, so I hit the one bathroom. I walked over to wait for Corey to come out, and I'm looking around, and there's like cats in cages. Like, to me, they looked like house cats. But supposedly they were exotic house cats, rare breeds, possibly Bengals, or I don't know what the breeds that the cats were. See, this isn't my thing. Corey should be doing this segment about the Pet Expo because, excuse me, she obviously paid way more attention than I did. But anyway, looked at these kitty cats in the cage, and then we started walking around. Canadian Farmstead says, nobody trying to show me their exotic pet in the bathroom. No one tried to show me their snake in the bathroom, but someone was trying to wrestle something in one of the stalls that appeared to have been dead, possibly, maybe. He was struggling pretty hard. Maybe too many cheese curds on Saturday. I'm guessing maybe one of the vendors sat and ate cheese curds all day and was having a tough go of it. But anyway, we started walking around, tons of snakes to the point where it ended up getting repetitive with the snakes. Lots of ball pythons, lots of, I think they were corn snakes, lots and lots and lots of ball pythons, all different patterns and colors and all sorts of that. That was kind of the main I would say that was the main animal there, was probably ball pythons. Tons of them. We got to see, they had everything. They had all the little lizards. They had iguanas. They had geckos. They had skinks and all sorts of little lizards. We saw miniature squirrels. I'm surprised we didn't come home with some of these things. So this guy at one vendor booth, he had miniature possums, miniature squirrels, and sugar gliders, and something else. Good morning, Rewilder Life. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you. So he had these miniature squirrel things, and they were interesting. They're like this big. They're like probably, I don't know if you're listening, I'm guessing they were 2-3 inches long. Didn't weigh shit. He didn't let us touch them. He had them, but they were like crawling all over him. He had it on a little leash. He's like, you don't really need it on a leash, but some people, when they get comfortable with you, they'll like run up and down your back and stuff. And he's like, people like to have the leash on them so they can tell where they are. But they're like little tiny little mice things, but they had a puffy squirrel tail. And he said they lived like 6 years. And I was like, oh my God, I could only, I could just picture us coming home with some of these things. But she resisted. Canadian Farmstead asked if there were any tiny, little tiny armored ones. And there weren't any live. Somebody was selling a 3D printed version of an armadillo that like it rolled up into a ball, and then it had the plates, and you could unroll it and set it. It was like a little desk toy, something you'd put on like by your, kind of like the ducks, but they had those, tons of 3D printed stuff. It was worth the $5 to get in for the entertainment, to walk around and look at everything. But it got really repetitive. And I don't know in that space how you would stand out as a person that's not a collector. I wasn't there looking to purchase a snake. I wasn't there looking for anything specific, more general observation. I don't know how you would stand out in that crowd if you were selling the same thing. And they obviously all sell the same thing. Well, a majority of them sell the same thing. There were some people that had some different stuff. There was somebody there doing custom laser engraving on random stuff that didn't seem to be affiliated with exotic pets at all, other than the fact that you could probably get a chameleon or something laser engraved on your Stanley mug or whatever they were engraving. So they were a little different. I think they were just traveling with them to make money doing with their laser engraver. There were French bulldogs for sale, puppies. I didn't know that they were exotic. Canadian Farmstead wondering if the exotic 3D printed stuff. It was 3D printed stuff of like snakes and lizards and I think one of the stands was actually 3D printed items to go in like your terrarium with animals. I think. I'm not sure. I really didn't dig in that far. Good morning, Chris Dixon. Thanks for stopping in. He says, laser engrave your new snake. Yeah, that would probably go well. Lots of tiny little snakes. And then every couple of boos, every once in a while, there was turn your garter snake into a diamondback. Every once in a while, there was a big snake. Take a picture with the big snake. Man, these people are money whores. I don't want to say all of them. There were some people that they had a big old Burmese python in a Tupperware in a clear Rubbermaid tote, and it was like $5 for a picture with the snake. And I mean, it was a pretty impressive snake. I think he said the one was like 16 foot long and like 45 pounds, I think is what he ended up saying. Uh, but it was like $5 to take a picture with my snake. And I was like, $5. It was weird. The vendors were awkward. And like Corey and I said when he left is, not to stereotype, but a lot of the times people into exotic pets aren't the most socially normal people. Canadian Farm says this, how much to put one of those cats in the Rubbermaid? You had to buy the cat first. I think the cats were like $600 or $1,200 or some stupid shit like that. These cats were super expensive. They had monkeys you could get pictures with. I don't think you could buy a monkey. And then they had kangaroos. They had baby kangaroos in a cage set up, and you could pay to go in and play with the kangaroos. And since that was really the main reason we went to the show, that attracted me to the show. Of course, I spent $10 to let Corey go into the kangaroo cage, and I'm so glad I did. I really am glad she went in. And she got to pet the kangaroos. She said they were super soft. They were very, very friendly. They had 3 baby kangaroos that were out jumping around. They had diapers on. They had food. You could feed them. And Corey was there feeding them, and she was petting them, and you could tell she was just in heaven. And I was getting some video of her, and I'm taking the video, and all of a sudden her face, she looks up, and her face just lights up. And she looks over, and they had all these pouches hanging on, these little fleece pouches hanging on the cage on the wall. And they all had baby kangaroos in them, like little baby kangaroos. And the one like pops its head out of the pouch and looks at her. And I think she fell in love instantly. She glanced over, the look on her face, the smile on her face. I could tell she was just in heaven. And she pokes her hand in and pets the little guy in the little pouch. Canadian Farm says, I'm surprised you didn't go home with one. Me too. I mean, if we weren't in a camper and we didn't have the dogs, I think we would probably have a kangaroo. Somebody else there, one of the other vendors, we were walking along. He had a thing. It said a picture. It said. It said a sign that said $5 for pictures with kangaroos, or a kangaroo, and he had one behind his vendor thing. He was selling other stuff, but all I can think of is he was traveling around with the expo, and those people that had the kangaroos had baby kangaroos. What are they called? Joeys. Had some Joeys, and he's like, "Yep, I'm gonna buy one of those. I'm gonna make my money back. Gonna make my money back. Getting pictures of the damn things." It is a wall pouch. It was a wall pouch. It was like these fleece hangers, and they had these things at all the booths. Not all the booths. All the booths that sold like accessories. They had these things where you can wear your pets around. So sugar gliders, the mini squirrels, the mini possums, all these things. They had like these satchels that you could wear that had mesh, had a zipper closure. They were fleece, and it was like a little marsupial little marsupial pouches, and you could buy them. And Rewilder Life says, doesn't Corey have a system for hanging wall pouches? she's got her door shut at the moment, so. But yes, she does. She does have a bag system on her wall. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. I would probably go back. I think if I heard that it was coming through again and we really didn't have anything to do that day or that weekend, I would spend $5 to go walk around again. I guess $10 for the two of us. Free parking and a drive up there. And then we went out and had lunch at think it was called the Old Spaghetti Factory or something. Hey, Rewilder Life says you could have got a kangaroo because you have a place to hang them on your wall racks, and you could have that kangaroo right by your work desk. Every few minutes, it just pop its head out. Canadian Farm says she has the door shut, so I can't see her baby kangaroo. Maybe. What was the name of that restaurant? Old Town Spaghetti Store. I'm not sure if it was a chain restaurant or if it's a one-off location, if it's a local thing or what it is. But Old Town Spaghetti Store is where we went for lunch. It was all right. It was Italian. It was nondescript, I guess. It was all right. It's all right. I had a French dip. I had a French dip and French fries at an Italian restaurant. So there's that. There is that. Corey had some pasta. She said it was pretty good. So that was our date. It went well. It went well. She still loves me. She stuck around. She hasn't left yet, so that's good. Beyond that, the weather here has been absolutely crazy. I guess not that crazy for the time of year it is, but the last week or so, I was looking at my show notes from last week, and there was forecast of 68 inches of rain in the forecast for the last calendar week. So Monday to Monday, the 10th through the 17th. And I would say we got all of that. We probably got 6. We probably got the 6+ inches. I would guess more. It rained. It stormed. We had tornadic activity in the general area on I guess that would have been Saturday night. Rain all week, cool, and then it warmed up. We had a temp spike. We had a couple nice days, some in the 40s and 50s, and then the 60s, and then it just dropped into the 30s. And so with all the rain, the normal expectation, the Tennessee River floods here. Seems like every year since we've been here, it's flooded at least a little. But with all the rain in the forecast, we started getting the flood warning on the weather app for the county we're in. And so the town I go to get groceries in is about a half hour from here, half hour south. It's right on a river bend, and it's known for flooding. There's floodplains. If you look at all the areas around the river, you can tell it floods quite often. A lot of the homes are up on stilts. There's a lot of RV parks that you can tell people get in and out of there quite often. And so the weather warning went out that the flooding is going to happen. It's been changing when the cresting is going to be. Flood stage at Savannah, where I go get groceries, is 370 feet. 370 feet for the river. The river elevation, I guess, would be what it would be called. Would that be the river elevation? The river isn't 370 feet deep. The elevation of the water top is 370 feet when it spills the banks in Savannah. It's expected to crest at 300 and I think 300. I saw 376.5 feet on Wednesday morning. So yeah, flooding, quite a bit of flooding. The road, there's kind of a shortcut road that I take to get to Savannah that I won't be taking anytime soon, because yesterday afternoon, and like I said, it's supposed to crest on Wednesday, so another 3 days of rising. The road I usually take to go get groceries and do laundry is under 5 foot of water as of yesterday, so I'm sure it's higher now because it's constantly going up right now. So there's that. A levee broke north of where we were yesterday, so about 2 hours northwest of here. a levee broke and pretty much swallowed a town. It didn't look like it looked like first floor flooding from the videos I saw. Like it didn't wipe out the whole town like they had happen here in Waverly, kind of in this general area a few years ago, where the whole town was pretty much destroyed. This levee breached and basically flooded the town, but it didn't look like it said on the report that I saw that it was a mass casualty event. But we know through the school shootings and things like that the term mass casualties, it could have been I think a couple people died, which is too much. Don't get me wrong, it's too much if anybody dies, but I don't think Canadian Farmstead says the levee wasn't dry. It was not. It may be now that the water has escaped, but flooding there. And the cool part, or not so cool part, is this week it's supposed to dive in temperature. We have a couple of days in a row, I think Wednesday, Thursday, where we're not going to get above freezing. We have overnight in the high single digits or low double digits. Okay, Hunter says you don't even need to die anymore for a mass casualty event. Only 3 people need to get injured is the general. Okay, that wouldn't surprise me. With like seeing the video of the flooding, it was a lot of mess. I mean, it still is. It's still underwater. It will be a lot of damage. It's really a pain in the ass and displaced a shitload of people. But looking at the water level, there weren't cars piled up all over like they got pushed by the rush of water. It looked like the levee overflowed more than breached. Man, maybe that's the same thing. And I could be completely off on this. I only saw the aftermath, but just by looking at like it didn't push any trees over, it didn't push any cars around. It just looked like all this thing had been, water had risen up. So I was curious how people were dying in this. So that that definition of mass casualty event would probably make sense. So Rewilder Life says, "Oh, let me tell you about weather." And then all of a sudden, after I talked about flooding for a minute, she said, "Never mind, I'll take this lots of snow and drifting." Yeah, we're good here. I think it would have to go up. I'm pretty sure when we check the elevation of the camper, we would be seeing animals getting on an ark if we were going to get flooded here. I think it has to go up another 60 feet or something, 70 feet. We're well over 400 feet elevation where the camper is, where the river is down the road a mile or so. We got plenty of elevation to go before we get flooded. But with the cold coming and another 3 inches of snow expected on Wednesday going in before the deep freeze, I'm curious how this is going to play out. I'm not sure. I've never been through something quite like this. I imagine we'll have like ice frozen up on the trees, which is always a cool phenomenon that would happen in Minnesota quite often when we would get a hard melt, and the sloughs would fill up with water and the water level would go up, and then we'd get a flash freeze and the surface inch or so would freeze, and then the water would recede, and the ice sheet would be up in the trees, like 3 or 4 feet up in the trees. It was kind of cool. John Palmer says they're calling for 4 to 10 inches of snow there tomorrow in, I believe, Oklahoma, and single digits for 3 days. And he says he's going to be staying home on Tuesday. That's probably a good idea, John. I wouldn't fault you for staying home at all. And Bitcoin just turned green. Bitcoin turned green, but it's still at 96. We've just been wavering in this 95 to 100 holding pattern for a little while. Canadian Farmstead says, don't you wish had paid a carbon tax now? I pay enough carbon taxes. Maybe if we hadn't paid the carbon taxes, it'd be a little fucking warmer around this place. Yeah. Anyway, with the cold rolling in, I told you guys a while back. It's Wilder they just had 16 inches of snow and there's a ton of drifting. Screw that. I'll take the flooding. Hunter says, I guess that means I need to pay attention to the weather on Wednesday. What's happening on Wednesday? With all the snow? Oh, the snow here? I don't know. So with the weather coming in, I told you guys about my experience buying firewood off of Marketplace. And the folks local, I kind of drilled them over and over and over. Hunter says if Oklahoma is Tuesday, that means Texas is going to be Wednesday. Hold on. I mean, I don't have the map of the United States ingrained in my head, but I'm pretty sure, isn't Texas directly below Oklahoma? Do the weather patterns run north and south in the United States now? I'm so confused. So confused. John Palmer's confused, so is Rewilder Life. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Maybe we can... Maybe we'll have to put a donation together and send Hunter Rand McNally Atlas. Canadian Farm says this. Maybe we should learn the states we have before adding a 51st one. Chris Dixon says 16 inches of water recedes way faster than 16 inches of snow. I'll take the water too. Well, the fact that the 16 inches of snow, when it recedes, turns into water, and then you need to wait for that to recede, you get the double whammy. We'll get him one with the update with the Gulf of America. Thanks, Rewilder Life. Anyway, I told you guys about the firewood I bought around here. I drilled the person about if it was dry, and I told you that they jumped through hoops to put some dry stuff on top, and by the time I realized it really wasn't dry, it was way too late. Our stove being so small, we need extra dry firewood, because it just, we don't have enough volume to get the coal bed rolling enough to both dry the wood out and produce enough heat to keep the camper warm, both due to lack of insulation and the size of the stove. So it works great when we have super dry firewood, seasoned dry firewood, that it works well. You get any sort of wet-ish non-seasoned wood, and it's cold. It doesn't want to start. Even when it does start, it runs cold, and the creosote builds up super fast. The stovepipe clogs up. So it's I'm very adamant, and so I need to get more firewood. And Canadian Farm said no business giving away skids. They are. There's pine all over the place. I actually almost bought a super cheap load of pine and poplar block. They look like cut off ends of something. I don't know. Real Life says you're going to grow your own coppice wood. I have more wood than at the property, and it's the fact that it needs to be a year seasoned. I cut it all down this summer. It's just not ready. But we've been using deadfall, and it's been working great. And we just with all the rain, I can't get back to the property to get more. Hunter's explaining himself. It says, just checked, rain on Tuesday. It should be iced over on Wednesday. The after effects is what you're worried about. Gotcha. Canadian Farm said, wondering about the skids are usually super dry. What if you mix that with not so dry? It would work. I think we could run pine in this. It does clog up the stovepipe, and we only run a 3-inch stovepipe, so the stovepipe gets clogged way quicker. The stove cap gets clogged way quicker, and then we extrapolate that anytime we use some non-super dry, non-seasoned, and then something like pine that puts off a lot of creosote with the pine tar. So ideally, 2-year seasoned oak is phenomenal. I got 3 foot logs, 3 foot rounds sitting out at the property that just needs to be split. And the amount I have out there, going back to Rewilder's coppice wood, we have so much wood on that property that I won't need to be replenishing it. I don't think, but we will probably be running fodder trees, tree hay fodder trees, not necessarily for animal feed, but for propagation and sale. I'm sure we could throw in some sort of firewood coppicing plan too. But right now we'll have plenty, especially coming from Minnesota, where the volume of wood you used for a winter was like 10x at least than here. So what I cut down and still have yet to cut down out on our little patch there, it'll be plenty. So anyway, it's just getting through this winter. Since I can't speed up time, and I can't make the stuff I have drier, and I can't get back reliably to the property at the moment to get more dry wood, to get more deadfall. Everything I have access to right now is damp and not seasoned. And so I hit Marketplace again, and skipped right over the one that I used last time. But I hit Marketplace again, and there were quite a few people. I started researching a little bit more this time. I realized that not everyone is that trustworthy on there, and you can believe what they say in their listing. And so I started asking some more questions, and I found 2 folks that seem to sell a shitload, sell a ton of firewood. That's basically their winter job, or their fall winter job. Seems like delivery, both of them. Delivery was pretty much the only option. So I started chatting with them, and then both of them really, it was going to come down to price. I was like, all right, well, this guy wants 125. This guy wants 110. Well, girl wants 110. They're both going to deliver it. I obviously just go with the lower price. Reviews were similar. And so I said, can you bring it on Monday? Because I have enough to get through today, probably tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. But I really don't want to run close. I don't like to be cold. and it's cold enough in here when we do have a full blown fire going. And so I was like, hey, can you drop it off yesterday or Monday? And the first one, the cheaper one, was like, no, I do deliveries on Wednesday. I can come on Wednesday. I can put you on the list. I was like, oh, fuck. I asked the other one, and she's going to show up today, I think, this afternoon. But when I was talking to him, I was sitting at the table, and I said to Corey, I said, I'm getting wood on Facebook. Didn't even think of it. She's like, oh, yeah? They've been, by the way, Facebook's been showing me horrors like you wouldn't believe. You know how I got, if you remember way back, I got into a loop where they were showing me Arnold Schwarzenegger. I get in these weird loops where they're showing me like 80s alt rock band stuff. Hit miss. Right now I'm in a deep horror loop. Facebook just keeps throwing fucking horrors at me like left and right. It's hard to open the app. I mean, like I don't mind looking at a good looking woman. I mean, I really appreciate the beautiful nature of the female form. But it's a little excessive on Facebook right now in my feed. The algo really drove that home. And I've been joking with Corey about it for a while now. And so when I told her that I was going to get wood on Facebook, she I told Corey that I was getting wood on Facebook. She was like, oh, more horrors. And I said, oh, no, firewood. I'm getting firewood on Facebook. And I was like, but anyway, I am getting it from a girl named Candy. And she kind of chuckles. I said, and it's Candy with an I. So I'm literally getting wood on Facebook from a girl named Candy, spelled with an I. Chris Dixon says, what search terms did you use asking for a friend? So, yeah. So Candy's supposed to come today. After she gives me my wood, she's coming. Canadian Farmstead said, who knew stripping was seasonal? Right? Oh, I felt bad. I feel dirty. But anyway, they're supposed to show up today. They're like, here's the price. Wilder Life says, oh yeah, all my car doors are frozen. Sweet. Oh, I hated that shit. I had a friend that used to have he cut a flat sheet, and every day he got home from work, he would open both his car doors and drape the sheet over the windshield and wrap it around the side view mirrors and hang it over the doors and shut the doors. And his shit didn't freeze. He didn't have ice on his windshield. He didn't have ice on his side view mirrors, and his doors never froze to the door frame. I was always sketched out and like, dude, you're gonna end up that cloth is gonna be moist at some time. That cloth is gonna be moist at some time and just freeze everything solid. That's what Rachel says. I wondered it would just freeze to the car. That's what I always thought. But he's like, no, I swear, dude, it's never frozen to the car. I don't know if he had and what kind of sheet it was. He's like, no, dude. And he showed me pictures. And the fucking car is like wrapped in a sheet. Oh, give it a try. But you just like open it up, pull it off, shake it out. And the hatchback on the Subarus. Ooh. Gotta get yourself a heated garage when you live in that kind of conditions, Rachel. So, yeah, Candy's coming with my to give me wood today. And Corey will be working, so I'll have to take the wood delivery. They offered to stack it for an extra $25, and I'm like, yeah, no, you can back right in the driveway and just dump that shit off. It looks like they might. I don't know if it was this one or the other one. Looked like they had a dump bed, flatbed, and it had a setup where they would put each section stacked up the bed. So a rick, I guess. I've learned in Minnesota we always did cord and face cord, and here they talk about ricks and racks, and I had to look up the terms. It is, and I think I talked about this last time when I bought it, but it looks like a rick of wood or a rack of wood. Both terms seem to be interchangeable. Is about a third of a cord, give or take. So you're buying an unknown quantity that's about this much. But it looked like that they stacked it side to side on the bed, and then would strap it down. And when they were delivering, they would pop the strap of the whatever the person was getting and dump the tilt bed back, and it would just roll off. And I thought that was pretty slick. But this guy said, so this guy's getting 100 and what did he say? 125, 110 delivered, 115 delivered. And he said he sold over 150 ricks of wood this year. And I did some quick math in my head, and that dude just ripped 15 grand for selling firewood. And when I asked him if he had Cash App, Venmo, or anything like that, he said, nope, cash. I mean, is it worth it? I don't know. Really depends on. I was thinking that if you had a regular customer base, that once you had it set up, you weren't selling all the time. That you were just delivering and processing and acquiring new clients as some dropped off. I mean, if you had your workflow set up and you had good seasoned wood, you got a year into it before you make any money. If you're selling decent product, might not be horrible. No, it might not be horrible. Oh, and speaking of side hustles, that's Rewilder Life says, nice hustle. Hey, Pip, how we doing? He says, is that like tomato or tomato? I guess. I don't know. It's when I searched it, I'm not the only one that has been confused by the firewood terminology, because there were a dozen articles about the different regional dialects or regional names and different things firewood is quantified and sold by. So there is that. We need a standardized measure of firewood, and we also need to make sure that all firewood sales have a moisture meter with them. I think this should be required, or maybe the buyer beware and get it. But thinking about the wood side hustle, when we were at the Pet Expo. So when we were in Minnesota, we sold a lot of raw pet food, rabbits and quail, processed chicken parts and things like that. We did a solid bit of we probably sold more pet food, excluding eggs. Even eggs, we sold a shitload of quail eggs into the pet food market. I would say, excluding eggs, we sold more product into the pet food market than anything else. And our next ventures in pet food were going to be along the reptile family, and we were going to move into either mealworms or rats and mice, or both at the same time. That was after the quail was going to be set and running on its own. We were going to expand into running rats and mice and mealworms eventually. It was all the planning was done for all of it. It was just a matter of which one we wanted to do first. So I've done a lot of looking into breeding rats, both as pets and pet food. And being there yesterday really kind of sparked that in my head again, just because of the sheer limited space it takes to do. Basically, you run them in racks full of little Tupperware containers. They don't need a ton of room. They breed like bunnies and rats and mice, and they breed really fast. And if you do it right and you get into the right market, it could be pretty lucrative. And being at the Pet Expo yesterday, I was kind of scoping it out. There was one vendor selling frozen reptile food. They had freezers on site. Everyone else was selling pet rats or pet mice, pet hamsters, all of the things that you feed. And I don't know if there's a requirement in Tennessee. I know there were some really weird semantic stuff in Minnesota where, not anti-Semitic, semantic stuff, where if it was alive, it had to be a pet. You couldn't sell live rodents as food, even though wink, wink. If you went to the store and you owned a snake and you bought a pet rat, the pet rat became friends with your snake real fast and then tickled his insides. So I don't know if that was the deal, why they were all listed as pets. They didn't look very healthy, the pets. So I don't know. That might be something that we fire up pretty quick when we have a structure. I'm not putting them in the camper. We don't have enough room here, even though it is super limited space. Our limited space is all limited, is all occupied. But that might be something that might pop up real quick and start putting those out as soon as we have a little bit of square footage to set it up and a freezer to hold product. Because it was simple, inexpensive to start, and easy to run. So that could be something for sure. And Corey likes rats. Corey and her brother had pet rats when they were kids that they would walk on leashes and all sorts of fun stuff. So she'd be okay. She'd be okay as the mama taking care of the things, and we would probably run them like we did our rabbits, where I was in charge of to the beginning of life and the end of life, and she took care of them on a day-to-day basis. I'm guessing works out well. She loves the animals, and I don't get attached to them that way. So thinking about that. Director Detour this week. I got Lance Psycho came out today. Psycho, you would think is spelled the normal way, but it's actually spelled Cayko. Really interesting dude out of South Dakota, now lives in Colorado. Multifaceted. He's an architect. He's a builder. He's done all sorts of construction. He's a fisherman. He's a community garden guy. So definitely check his interview out. I enjoyed that. Lorraine Ball coming up this week, and Derek Hales. Derek Hales was interesting. I booked him before I realized who he was. But turns out, if you've ever seen I don't know if you've seen the website called Sleepopolis, I believe was the name of it. It was a long time ago. Longer ago that Corey and I, when we bought our first mattress together, when we moved in to our house, I used it to research the mattress. It was a mattress research review site, basically. Turns out he got sued. He can't talk about it, really. But he got sued by Casper, the mattress manufacturer. And there was some stuff. He's like, definitely go read it. There's plenty of stuff written about it. You can go read about it, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. And so I went and researched after the fact. And what a crazy story. What a crazy story that is. But he is now doing Sleep Lab, I believe, is the name of his site, where he reviews and does mattress reviews, and product demonstrations, things like that. So I think it was Sleep Lab. But he's coming up on Friday, so another 3 great episodes of Director Detour this week. And before we kind of wrap up or start heading out of here, got a new website I've been working on. I've been kind of talking about it in the Telegram chat a little bit. t.me/lots chat if you're interested in jumping on Telegram and hanging out in the Telegram group with a bunch of cool folks that we have a good time over there for sure. But I've been hinting there. A few people have sent links to check it out, to kind of give it a once over, copyright proofreading type. And so I've been working on it for quite a bit, using a little AI here and there to help me, to spur ideas, to enhance copy, whatever. I have a target of March 1st ish. The Monday of that week is March 3rd. I'm hoping to roll out the new website and a little bit of a new show format. And it's not going to be any big changes, but really transition more to what I intended when I went to the once a week. Just haven't got there yet because, things get behind. But basically a couple more rigid segments, and then conversation at the end. And I want to hit, I'm really leaning right now. I want to hit a Bitcoin topic, a beginner Bitcoin topic, whether that be, just rolling through wallets or news on the Bitcoin front from the week or whatever, just one Bitcoin topic. I also want to do an AI topic, whether that explores a service out there, a tip of something to do with free AI, something to do with paid AI, things that you can do with it. So I'm hoping to do a segment on Bitcoin, a segment on that, a segment on what our week's been like, and then anything going on the off-grid front, any projects we're working on there. And however it rolls out, I've been messing around with it. They're not really dress rehearsals, but kind of going through show segments, trying to dial that in on the time length, and also working on that site. I'm hoping to launch them collectively here in the next week or so. So next Monday, I might trial run that live and see how it goes, the new format, and then dial it a little bit more. And hopefully March 3rd, we'll have a new version of the Lots Project Morning Show, which, it'll keep the same name and everything, but just a little bit more structured and hopefully a little more informational, and not lose the entertainment value. So that is on the docket for the show and the website, and along with the website upgrade will come a blog post with every show. Both Director Detour and the Lots Project Show will have blog posts up there and start driving traffic to my own shit instead of other people's stuff, is basically what it came down to at that point. Excuse me. John Palmer says a Rick around here. A Rick around here is 4 by 8 by 18. Yeah, the stuff I saw on a Rick is basically 4 by 8 by whatever width you cut your firewood. So that's a significant amount of volume difference when you think 4 foot by 8 foot, and then it's either it could be anywhere from 15 to 24 inches is what I saw. No one cuts their firewood 24 inches long. I mean, maybe somebody does. That's a big stove. But that's you got a 9-inch difference, and you're talking 4 by 8 cube. That's a big amount of volume difference. So I don't know. They're pretty loose terms, and like I said, Rick and Rack, RACK and RICK. I've come to understand that is the same thing here. Used both in the same conversation. I was having a conversation with one of the guys talking about it, and in one sentence he used the word Rick, and in the next sentence he used the word Rack. So I don't know. Hopefully I don't have to worry about it after this year. I don't think I'm going to get in the depends on how much we stack up out there, but I don't necessarily want to get into the firewood sales business at this point. So Canadian Farmstead says the rats were not kosher at the the rats at the expo were not kosher. I doubt it. Other than that, I don't have much left on my list. We're sitting at about an hour here. Ember update. Ember app stacking Bitcoin. Had a rough day yesterday. Canadian Farmstead. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. I got messing around trying to figure out some new games, trying to figure out some different strategies, because if it's working, why not just go with it? But ended up losing $10 in Bitcoin on Ember yesterday or the day before. I don't know. It sucked, but it is what it is. But sitting at the month right now at 63, almost 64,000 sats. I have a withdrawal reminder for the 21st every month. So I got another 4 days to stack and then earn a little bit through the games. But hoping to bring in about $60 to $70 this month in Bitcoin through the Ember app. It's not hard to use. Basically, it's a once a day thing, and then a little bit of playing games every now and then. And then if you hold tight to your strategy and don't venture off to do other things, and you can get a little bit of a boost, or at least stay kind of even, earning your coins that you can actually your sats that you can actually withdraw. So I've been through one cycle. It withdrew fine. It ended up in the wallet. Chris Dixon asked yesterday about fees. The fees are kind of high on there. I think it is what it is. It's one of those. I think I'm looking at Ember as, if I didn't do this, I'd have 0 Bitcoin. So if I am Canadian Farm says, or you just never get to a withdrawal point. I mean, there is that. But you're having fun playing games, right? You're having fun playing the games. If I can get enough to withdraw, it's more than I had before. It just gets stacking them up. Take advantage of all the free Bitcoin you can. I sit and think about it. I think about the fact that we all share memes. I shouldn't say we all. Several of us share memes in the Telegram group about old school fountains, faucets, and things like that. Faucets, where you could get a Bitcoin or more for clicking a button. Now, this is back in 2012, 2013, when Bitcoin was worth a fraction of what it is now. But the amount of payout was mind-boggling compared to the price right now. So I look at that and say, what are my opportunities today that I felt like they're not worth it today, or maybe borderline worth it, or almost worth it, those type of things. I look back at what could have been a significant windfall if I had taken part and thought it was worth the time then. Do I know if it's going to be worth it? Will that $70 be worth $200? Will it end up being worth it'll be worth 70,000 sats. John Palmer says the tea's ready, and Canadian Farmstead thought that my ears were whistling from doing math in my head. maybe. But I don't want to be here 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and go, man, I could have been earning 30 sats a minute by clicking a button. I don't want it to be like I could have been earning a Bitcoin a minute by clicking a button. Now I don't see it being that much, but you never know. I wouldn't have ever expected in 2012 to be saying Bitcoin's $100,000. Or I would have been clicking that fucking button every minute. So just something to think about. Exchange your time wisely. Exchange it wisely. If anybody's got anything you want to talk about, hit it in the comments and we'll talk about that. Some other things have popped up this week on the Bitcoin front. Fold has rolled out their credit card waiting list. The Fold debit card I've been using for a few years now have made a pretty decent stack in rewards, Bitcoin rewards that only keeps going up in value. You get rewarded in sats, not in dollars. So your sats stay sats. And with the price of Bitcoin, they fluctuate in how much your rewards are worth. So check out Fold. The link is down in the description. Like I said, they have both the credit card coming out. That's on a wait list. And the debit card. I definitely suggest you get the debit card, if nothing else. You get it, order it, hook a bank account, deposit $100. You get 20,000 sats. I get 10,000 sats if you use my link down below. And start using it. Start earning those rewards for using your debit card. There's some strategies that you can use to maximize that. If you're interested in that and learning more about that, feel free to reach out to me. I'll probably be doing a article, blog post, or a little course on the things I do to maximize my Fold rewards and Fold returns. So that's down in the video description is a link to pick up the Fold card. And I'm thinking at the beginning they're going to require Fold debit card to get the credit card, but I don't know if that's going to be the case long term. ShakePay, community member, if you're up in Canada, community member Chris Dixon sent me his ShakePay link. Since I don't have ShakePay, I am not a Canadian, thank God. After the ass whooping the U.S. hockey team put on them, I would probably have to. I don't even know if I could show up online with the name Canadian Farmstead or something like that. Never mind. Sorry about that. But ShakePay, if you're up in Canada, check out ShakePay. Link in the video or in the audio description and video description. Jade Plus over there, 10% off with the Lots Project code, or you can click the link down in the video and audio description. That'll put that code right at checkout for you. You don't have to worry about it, but blockstream.com, store.blockstream.com, or click the link down in the description. Check out the Amazon stuff if you would. Canadian Farmstead says the tournament's not done. It doesn't matter. One game was enough, dude. I'm surprised the Canadians haven't quit yet. Do you think the crowd's gonna boo the national anthem again? Fucking America. I didn't even watch it. I just saw the replays and all the hoopla about the national anthem and then the immediate fighting. I thought it was kind of funny. This is 2-1, and we won all 3 fights. Like I said, I didn't even watch it. I saw a headline about it and some stupid little video, and thought I would bust a little balls. But like I said, I don't know anything about it really. And I haven't watched hockey in Years. I saw Keith. Was that Keith Kachuk that was playing, or was that one of his kids? Because that's how old I am. Maybe a cousin. I don't know. You can also find links to the Amazon, my Amazon storefront, some idea list. That was his two sons. There you go. There you go. That's how in hockey I am. This dude has two adult sons that are playing, and I assumed that it was him. That doesn't surprise me that they both fought. Amazon storefronts over there, links, all the links are down in the descriptions, the audio and the video. I appreciate you hanging out. I hope you come join us in the Telegram group at t.me/lots chat. Just click on apply. I'll check out your application and probably send you a chat and talk to you for a second. Make sure you're a real human being. I hopefully keep the security of the chat pretty locked down for the members that choose to join, so they're not getting spammed and stuff out of my group. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope your week goes great. We'll see how the weather goes here. Like I said, you can find me over in the Telegram chat or all across the interwebs under the Lots Project. Just shoot me a message anywhere, and look forward to that new website going live sometime between now and March 1st. I'll probably put it up and it'll be live and going, and then I will announce it after the fact once everything is up and working. So hope you have a fantastic day and you all have a great week. Thanks for hanging out, and we will talk to you again next Monday.